All right, started the stream. Give it a second here.
Why didn't you just stack? Okay, well, I'm not clearing it. Oh, maybe. You should have just stacked, bro. Give us the rod.
Okay, are you guys ready to start?
Yeah.
Andy, what are we here to do today?
We're here to shit on Pokemon.
Ah, my favorite pastime. If only Mr. Midori could be here. Now that would be perfect. So, I want to go over what happened today. I would give it to you usually, but this is a special day, so I kind of have to handle this myself. Essentially what happened today, and I want to take a moment to say, everything that came out today could be wrong. It could be false.
It could also be yeah. It could also be exactly what we all kind of feared.
And given that it's this close to launch, after the Game of Thrones Season 8 leaks, I'm a little bit more, and the Blue Fever Final Fantasy leaks, I'm more inclined to believe leakers when they're this close. I'm not going to totally say that this is absolute. So we're just going to talk about the leaks that came out for Sword and Shield. Because I fucking died when I read half of this. I mean, I'm going to be front with you. When I saw part of it and you brought your image, and I basically lost my shit for like an hour. Just like, how could they fucking do this? And just thinking about the Pokemon that they did make and or did put in, presumably. Everything I say from here on out is accompanied by presumably at the end.
Just everything is allegedly, presumably.
But if it's right, I'm totally going to look back on this podcast and have a fucking great time. But, yeah, I basically threw this together. We have two major images that I saw floating around. One I got from my good friend DoublePrime over here, and the other I got from PokeTips, who linked it. I saw his video earlier today. Let me see if I could find it. I have to actually use studio mode because I don't want to be an idiot. I'll just put this up there.
Just to say, I didn't make this. I just found
it. Yeah, you didn't make it. We found these images. And it was a leaker from, I don't know, VP or V. But I don't...
From the hacker known as 4chan.
Yes. And that is... What do you think, Mr. Prime? I want you to start.
I kind of want to go down the list of losses. Gen by gen.
We can start off right off the bat with...
My question is, who's actually still in the game, honestly?
Well,
Charmander.
According...
Gen 5, baby.
And my favorite fucking Pokemon, Basculin, made the cut. That's what I'm talking about.
My favorite Pokemon...
That's what I'm talking about.
Some of my favorite Pokemon definitely didn't make the cut.
I think my only favorite
because some of my favorite ones are starters.
Oh yeah, you get to eat shit. If you like any starter besides Charmander, you can eat shit as far as
it's possible. It's possible that the only way you could even get, based on what I'm assuming, you can only really get Charmander if he might be the only Pokemon you can import because
it's supposed to be Leon's Pokemon.
Yeah, it's his Pokemon. It's that champion's Pokemon. So he might not even be Charmander might not be accessible normally.
Like, you know how most champions have a really, like, exotic or cool Pokemon that's, like,
of
in
the region?
Pokedex? Yeah, they decided to make Charmander that Pokemon this time. So usually it's, like, Metagross or Garchomp, or I don't remember Gen 5. Diantha uses... Fuck, I don't remember. She uses Mega Gardevoir. She uses Mega Gardevoir, that's right. And obviously, you know, so on and so forth, whatever. And then you're the league champion in Alola. But usually, most of the time, it's some really rare exotic Pokemon. If you like any Pokemon, you get to eat shit. If you like any starter, eat shit.
So here, besides the fact there are no starters except for Charizard and the new starters, we have Butterfree but no Beedrill.
Wait, what?
It's
Butterfree but no Beedrill.
They want to mix and match, and if this was a region,
are native to Europe.
Listen, no, we're gonna get to the fact that they missed out on Pokemon that would make perfect sense in England specifically.
Oh, Aegis
like
Swana. Dude. We're good. Yeah, Swana's
is
not in it.
How is Swana the Swan Pokemon not in England, the land of hell?
Right.
England has a bunch of fucking swans. Lillipup
Untitled
isn't
Goose Game
in.
has the monopoly on the Swamp
On
population.
Swans,
yeah.
They stole it.
Okay.
I just like to run down some numbers because I actually wrote a podcast doc, but I to crunch the numbers real quick. Out of all Gen blank Pokemon, out of all Generation 1 Pokemon, 54 out of 50 return. That's about a 36% return rate. And the only reason that this is really a big deal, I should preface this, is that if this was just the regional decks, I wouldn't really care.
Nobody cares.
Because then all the other Pokemon would be in.
If this was a regional dex,
whatever.
This is huge.
Fuck it, yeah.
Actually.
400 is... Well, actually, technically, that's Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon levels. But sure. If they want to keep regional dexes at 400... I'm okay with that. Whatever. Fuck it. Cool. More kudos to you. These are the only Pokemon in the game, is what we're talking. Like this. If you don't like these Pokemon, you just won't like this game unless you like looking at humans in a Pokemon game. Which again, whatever.
With their great graphics.
36% return rate for Gen 1. Out of those 54 Pokemon, 5 are exclusively in Galarian form, and one of them, Meowth, is available in both forms. Out of all Gen 2 Pokemon, only 33 out of 100 return. That's 33%. And out of those 33, only one, Corsola, is exclusively Galarian form. Corsola also has their evolution as well now. Out of all Gen 3 Pokemon, 42 out of 135 return, which is only about 31%. And of those 42 Pokemon, 2 are Galarian form, which are the Zigzagoon line. Out of all Gen 4 Pokemon, 38 out of 107 return, which is a 36% return rate. Of those 38 Pokemon, only one, Mime Jr., is Galarian form. Out of all Gen 5 Pokemon, 85 out of 156 return, which is a 54% return rate. Of those 85, 5 are Galarian form. Gen 6 only has 32 out of 72, which is a 44% ratio. And Gen 7 has a 36 out of 82 return, which is also 44%. There are no new Galarian forms for either Gen, and Gen 8 introduces 94 new Pokemon plus new forms, or a grand total of 82 new Pokemon and 12 new forms for old Pokemon. Now, the list I made does not account for Meltan and Melmetal, but if you were to take that into account, obviously some of the percentages would change. I did a little bit of quick math beyond the image I posted earlier, which is that about 20.5 or 20.4% of all new Pokemon are in the Galarian deck. So it's about 1/5 new. I didn't do this for all the other regional dexes or new games, but I just wanted to throw that number out there. So about 1 out of every 5 Pokemon is new completely, and 1 out of every 4 is either a new form or a new Pokemon. So that's those are your stats. I just want to throw that out there real quick.
Dude. That's the boy right there.
Yeah, they made it black and a thug, so I don't want to say anything more than that.
So it's
okay, racist.
I mean, it's just the some it just doesn't make sense. A lot of these Pokemon, considering that even the location of the game, it's supposed to be England. And some of these Pokemon are native to the British Isles. Like, I understand no fossil Pokemon, to be honest. I understand. Look, if I was to make cuts, fossils would be the first one. I would obviously have a natural deck, because that's not my fucking choice.
Yeah, honestly, I would have.
But here's the stuff that makes no sense to me whatsoever. Besides the Beedrill, I'm going gen by gen here because it's just so much. No Dragonite.
Okay,
yeah, you should.
No Dragonite. No Alakazam.
Can I want to interject one thing since you started at Dragonite.
Fuck the coat of arms, dude.
Yeah, fuck that. But I just like to point out that this generation has Mew in the Pokedex, but not Mewtwo.
Not
apparently.
Wait, what?
So here's the great thing about some of the bullshit that they try to spew to people, saying that we're listening to people. When Mewtwo is a 1,000,000% a favorite in the Pokemon world. The #1 favorite Pokemon in Japan, I think, is Greninja.
Gone.
Who is obviously not in it.
Gone.
Yeah.
Wait, Greninja is gone?
Yes.
Greninja, there are no starters.
There are no other starters. If your starter is not Gen 8 or Charmander, you can fuck off.
Go fuck yourself.
Go fuck yourself.
Look, I understand no Ultra Beasts. That makes some sort of fucking sense. That's fine.
Yeah, sure.
But if you're gonna pick, if you're gonna leave out my boy, Pinsir, you're gonna leave out Magmar, you're gonna leave out fucking Zangoose and Aggron, but you're putting in what is this motherfucker called?
Basculin.
There's Basculin. There's Jesus Christ, I can't even find half this shit.
Spritzy.
Donkey, Badu. What the fuck is this shit's name? That fucking Gen 4 Bud. The little Bud bullshit in Gen 4. Who cares?
Oh, because Rosalia and Roserade are in it.
Woobat?
I like Woobat. All right, hold on. I like Woobat. All right, but they got rid of Zubat, so
Woobat.
Woobat, but no
The reason
Zubat.
why Mewtwo is not in the game is because the English Puritan Church said, "Nah, you can't have that."
Okay, yeah, they
Hold
genuflect to that shit. All right, sounds good. They have to answer your earlier question.
Fur isn't in it. A fucking British poodle. That's not in the game. What?
Wait, is who's the bulldog Pokemon? Is that in it?
No,
Read it
the
The pink one.
Snubbull?
Snubbull.
Snubbull?
Snubbull is
No,
fine,
no,
though. Snubbull
out.
is fine.
Literally an English bulldog.
The
not
English
a-
bulldog is not in the game.
Out. What was I gonna say? Fuck, there's another one that's also out. Or no, to answer your question, there's no Beedrill, but we get Combi and Vespiquen, dude.
Oh, because those are fucking. Because anyone likes those.
Yeah,
Who
yeah.
wants that?
Well, I mean,
fuck-
those are technically bees, but I mean, if you want to say that
They're
Beedrill's a wasp,
technically bees.
if you want to say that Beedrill's
No,
a wasp,
Beedrill is a wasp, though. Beedrill's kind of wasp, though.
Yeah, there you go. Fuck it. We get Butterfree at least. I mean, I like Butterfree over Beedrill. I always have.
Even
But that's
though
what
his
that's
name
what you
is
fucking
Beedrill,
get, dude.
he's more of
But
a
it doesn't make
wasp.
sense. Yes, you're right. It's more of a wasp than a bee, but at the same time, you can't have. Why would you have the counter to it in, but not itself?
Because
No,
fuck
because
you.
you
Fuck
get
you.
to-
We made cuts.
Yeah.
I really want to know what their boardroom meetings were like.
Sorry, dude. It took two.
No, because here's the kicker. Remember, we can't
But
import
didn't
Pokemon, right?
the freaking game that they copied all the animations from have all
They-
of
they-
the
yes.
shit?
You
They
mean
already
Ultra
have
Sun,
all of
Ultra
this.
Moon? Yes.
They already have every single sprite animation in. They already made it.
That's
and they
been
made
proven
it
time and
compatible.
time again.
So, in Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Moon, in their national decks, there were two Pokemon bizarrely missing, which are Solrock and Lunatone, however the fuck you say it. For some reason, the Sun and Moon Pokemon were missing in Sun and Moon,
It was a precursor.
but they decided to put them in the country that gets the least sun in the planet.
Yeah, why not? Fuck it. And fuck you.
Fuck you.
This whole list kind of screams fuck you. So to give a real world example, right?
Fuck you.
If you go into
fuck you.
GameStop
Basically.
and you have the Pokemon Pass app, you can download. By the way, hello, Elite Snowman King. Welcome to a very special stream. I appreciate you stopping by.
Me yelling. I'm never mad in these things.
Yeah,
Fuck.
Andy is usually never mad at anything ever. So when I could tell he's a passionate man. I've seen this coming since June, so this isn't a big surprise for me.
No, but it's like, okay, there's some Pokemon. I have weird. I like Porygon. I didn't expect to see him, but it's sad to see him gone. Who I did expect to
Sad
see.
him gone.
You know who I did expect to see, but who isn't in?
I like
My boy
Porygon.
Skarmory.
no,
My boy Aggron.
Nope.
How are you gonna do me like this? Where like
Like
these are Pokemon like they're so Murkrow. Are you kidding me?
yes. No, actually, this is like the literal definition of what nightmare you're awake. Like this is one of those times where it's like, this is not a fucking meme.
I don't even.
In
like,
about
and
2 weeks we'll know.
I'm not even just mad about Pokemon that I like gone, but there's just some shit that doesn't make sense. Some shit just doesn't make sense.
Snowman
Go-
King is happy. Diglett's in, dude.
Go.
Diglett made it.
Diglett. Fucking
Diglett and Dugtrio. I mean, sure, whatever. Diglett, Dugtrio. It's weird to see them give so much love to Gen 5 when previously they mostly scoffed at giving Gen 5 anything ever after Gen 5.
Yeah, they wanted to
It
forget they
had
ever
one
made
Mega
that thing.
Evolution, Mega Audino, and that's it. And they never gave anything else because they didn't make any Mega Evolutions for Gen 6. This has been coming since Gen 6. I feel like this has been coming as far back as 2014. If I'm being honest with you.
Like, they put in. I understand putting in Vullaby, whatever. A lot of these Pokemon I've only read. I've never heard.
And Mandibuzz.
I understand.
Oh, yo, my boy Mandibuzz.
I understand Mandibuzz, but if you're gonna be inconsistent about putting their mirror image, why are you putting Braviary in England? The American Pokemon in England. You're not even putting the British Pokemon in England. Why are you putting the American Pokemon in England?
Did we ever truly leave Alola? Are we still in America?
America forever, dude. America first.
No fucking sense.
I think some of these picks are very questionable. I think that's just ultimately a result of
some of these aren't even popular Pokemon.
Yeah, I mean, it was never going to be a popularity contest. I knew this was going to be a slaughter fest. And I think I've said this a few times in the Discord. Just wait until we figure out what Pokemon are in this game and what Pokemon aren't. A lot of people are going to be fucking mad. Now, I didn't expect every starter to get the cut, besides Charmander. I at least expected the Gen 1 dick sucking to continue for whatever reason. But now they don't even feel the need to do that. They just fucking put in one Pokemon from Gen 1. The rest can fuck off. Or one starter.
Unless these new Pokemon have some monster stats, the teams for competitive play are going to be fucking hilarious.
I really hope it's a fucking meme. Now, I'm not super competitive, but I really hope it's a meme.
I dabble in the world of competitive, right? I dabble in it. I understand some of it. So, based on what I see, Mimikyu's still in, which was pretty much on. Mimikyu's completely broken, honestly. There's Mimikyu's in for some reason.
Tyranitar, Sandstream.
Tyranitar.
We're going back to Gen 2 days.
But we're actually going to probably do weather teams again.
It's going to be Weather Wars again.
We got Hypoden is back.
Not that.
Oh my god, Infinite Sandstream.
We're going to have Sandstream ad nauseum.
Are there any Drizzlers? Are there any Sunny Day people?
No, please, no Sunny Day. Please,
there's no way there's Sunny Day.
Are there any Sunsetters by default? Like Politoed? Nope, that's not in.
There's no Poliwag.
No Politoed, no nothing.
Insanity.
Ninetales in?
Ninetales is
the
in.
classic? It is? Oh, well, there you go. We have drought teams.
It's not enough. No, Ninetales by himself is not enough because you need a Groudon for a fucking drought team.
I mean, sure, but the possibility is still there that between that and Charizard, that there's gonna be some fucking Sunny Day sellers.
You know how much trouble I'm finding?
Still in? Yeah, they are. Okay, let me not get too crazy.
Aegis just banned, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, well, I don't know, dude. That OU tier might be really fucking empty.
They might have to change this shit. To be honest,
they're gonna have to tier this entire game.
I'm gonna make a bad prediction. Vaporeon will be making its return into competitive because Dragonite's gone. You're not gonna replace your Dragonite with the fucking Snorlax unless they make a fat motherfucker in the new region because we got all the weird deer thing from Gen 5 are gone. Landorus,
the swords,
those are gone. The weather ones are gone. The swords are gone in Sword and Shield.
What is actually left, bro?
Depth Strike, it's Gliscor is gone. Garchomp is gone. Aggron is gone. Blaziken, obviously, because it's a starter. It doesn't make sense.
You get to play
Salamence
with
is gone. Metagross is gone.
Yeah, I was looking over the list, and I saw a lot of OU Pokemon just flat out gone.
Salamence is gone.
Is this just their way of striking back at years of OU just being what it was?
No, that's the funny thing. A lot of these are OU. However, we still have a Charizard. We still have Gengar.
Charizard hasn't been really up there though for a while.
Mega Charizard, but there's no Megas. But Charizard is the only one who ever touched. From what I know, there's no Megas. So there's Gigantamax.
What is the point of playing this game?
Because Pokemon's on the cover. That's why. That's your fucking reason.
Because it says Pokemon.
It's the new Star Wars, dude.
It's also because with no Megas, Mawwile's gone, pretty much. It's in the game, but who plays
cares? Why would you ever use normal Mawwile?
It's worthless.
That was the whole point. Mega Mawwile became a fucking massive threat. I say the same thing about so many Pokemon. Because they had Megas that changed the way they were without having to, retroactively change the Pokemon itself, it changed a lot of shit. I could see fucking Tyranitar running what is it, Rocky The
Stealth
smooth
rock?
stone. No, smooth stone. Whatever
Smooth
extends
stone.
sandstone.
Oh yeah, smooth stone.
Like that
Smooth
type
brain.
of stuff. Like because you don't have that kind of diversity anymore. And I don't know if it'll be. It might be a good fucking OU. Who knows? It could be a fucking shit OU.
I think
just think it's gonna be very
an OU
predictable.
that'll be like 5 years ago.
And they're gonna solve it really quickly because now there's no fucking mega evolution. So we're gonna look at stats. We're gonna look at tight matchups. And it's just gonna be throwing people out. It's like, does your Gigantamax offset how bad you are? If not, get the fuck out. You're done.
Because previously we had Z moves and megas at the same time. That was a decision to make. Who are you going to give your Z move to?
What's
Who
your
are you gonna
mega
give your
slot?
mega to?
What's your Z move
Like,
slot? Stuff like that.
What are you going to do about that? Who are you picking for that? Now you're going to pick your Charizard Gigantamax because I'm sure it's going to be the best Pokemon there. It's going to be legendary level. And most pseudos are already gone. And without a way to make them stronger, they're never going to be relevant.
Yeah, why would you
Well, no,
like?
aren't they adding IV training, like where you can just manipulate the IVs yourself?
That's not even the point.
I mean, you can already kind of do that
Well, the
too.
reason why the pseudo legendaries, well, it's both. They have pretty high IVs as well as their base stats are.
Well, it's more
higher
base
than
stats.
It's the base stats. It's the
stats.
base.
And
It's
you
the base.
can't fuck
Because
with
you
base
can never
stats
make your fucking artillery as
into-
powerful as an Aggron. You're never doing
It's just never gonna happen.
it. It can't reach those heights.
And most Pokemon in Pokemon are either bulky and meant to stall or last a long time, take hits and sustain, or really fast sweepers that do a lot of damage. If you don't fall into one of those two archetypes, you either have some gimmick that
Unless you're
really
doing a
fucks
gimmick,
with shit, or you're fucking not used.
Maybe a Blizzard team will be back. Maybe we'll get fucking Glaceon back in the fucking front and
Oh,
Piloswine.
I'd actually like that. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a fan of Glaceon.
I love Glaceon.
I
but-
love Glaceon.
Also apparently no new EVs.
Whatever. Is that real? That's the last thing in my mind.
No. To be absolutely fair, there's a trend in which they don't add new. Because right now there's an EV for every single element.
No, there's not.
Except
No, there's not. We're
Dragon.
missing Steel.
Not even close.
No, it's for all the old special types before the split.
So we're just missing Dragon and Steel right now, correct?
Steel
I
was
think?
not a special type in Gen 3.
But
It
in
was
terms
physical.
of evolution, there's no Steel type and there's no.
There's no Steel, Poison,
Bug, ground,
Bug,
rock.
Flying, Normal technically.
Well, we have a Gigantamax for normal now.
Oh right.
You like where
Gigantic-
this is going, dude?
Jesus Christ, dude.
Okay, then I take that back. There is.
No,
not.
there's a lot. It's I don't even think Eevee doesn't even cover half of the types.
It's just everyone's favorite because it evolves so much.
Yeah, but I mean they've been doing a type every other game pretty much. So. Every 2 games or something. But I mean, yeah, we got Basculin.
That broke my back, honestly, when I saw it. I thought I was really prepared. And then, what's the other one?
Wishy-Washy.
Whimsicott and Cotton is Wishy-Washy in. Don't
Wishy-Washy's in.
You're fucking...
That's
is
the earthquake. Wait, the one that the episode was banned because an earthquake happened like right before.
Whiscash
No.
gone. I'm pretty
Whiscash.
sure.
No, that's in it. No, that's
Is
in
it
it.
in?
Wishcash is in.
Or no,
Yeah.
no, it's
alright.
not Wishcast. It's Chimchuri, something like that. It's
Chimcha-
Oh, yeah, Whiscash is in. Okay.
Chandelier?
No. It's like the angle.
Chandelier? Lantern?
Is that what it's
Lantern's
called?
in.
Yeah,
You
there's
gotta-
Lantern,
you gotta give me a
Chinchou.
gen. Yeah,
Lantern and Chinchou.
Yeah,
but the Earthquake episode was specifically Whiscash.
Yeah.
That was specific. Whiscash was featured in that episode as a star Pokemon.
Yeah.
And then the Earthquake happened, and it pretty much never was released ever.
we got.
Wishy-Washy made the fucking cut. But not Rockruff and Lycanrough. So they made
No.
3 different forms of that fucking Pokemon. None of them
And
are
they threw it away.
returning.
Threw it away.
Threw it away. They're giving
the
out
garbage.
shiny Solgaleo and shiny Lunala in real life
Gone.
as we speak. Can't even use them in the new fucking game. So what's the
Gone.
what the fuck is the
here's
point of
thing, if you don't lose-
distributing them?
You better not lose your cartridge between now and when they actually get added, or you better not lose your Pokebank information.
According to what they said, they're never adding every Pokemon again.
Yeah, that's it. This is where we split.
Now, this is where I think we should talk about what the future holds for a game without cast form.
No future. There's no. Future.
Now,
It's the dark
if you don't
fate.
have Skarmory in your motherfucking game. No, honestly, like being totally fucking serious, Nintendo at this point should be like, you're done. You're done.
a Skarmory fan, aren't you?
This is literally Dark Fate.
Not just Skarmory, we lose Absol. Fucking my boy Pachirisu. Chatot, Clown. Cast form's not in.
Even though it's funny because England is constantly overcast.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
It makes no sense.
Dark
We have.
Fate.
Like, there's some Pokemon. Look, I'll give it to them.
Makes no sense. I can't understand it.
Chandelier makes sense. Pawniard makes sense. Golurk made
go
sense.
back in time to kill Game Freak.
We have to fucking make them not be lazy. We need to convince
God-
Genius Sonority to take over. Is what we need.
God
to do.
himself. The Pokemon God himself isn't
Doesn't
in the
go
game.
to England.
No,
England
that's
is
fine. English
cursed.
spirits in church. No, English spirits in
England,
church. They don't wanna,
England is
they don't want
cursed.
to anger. They don't want to anger the Vatican City in the next game, dude.
We're going to Italy. Oh, well, that would be fucking cool. It's just that not all Pokemon return. Like this is the part where I just don't fucking care at all.
I think Nintendo needs to.
This
step in
breaks
here.
my back. Someone needs to intervene because I'm not hype. I'm gonna get it
Because
from GameStop.
You know how
I'm gonna
don't
play it
even
for
bother
a
getting
week
it
and
from
return it.
GameStop. Find that shit in the bin.
No, I'm gonna return it for a full refund.
Well, GameStop has that 24-hour thing where if you don't
No,
beat the
it's
game
within a
48
week.
hours.
Because it's used.
No, it's 48 hours.
It's a week.
Well, for used.
No.
For used.
The thing is that if you don't like the game within 48 hours, you can return it for a full refund, no questions asked.
Well, yeah, that's if it's new. I'm not buying it new. I'm waiting for it to be used. Because it's 7 days.
Yeah, 7 days.
7 days you can return a used game for any reason under the sun. They give you a
Well,
full
yeah,
refund.
that's general refund policy.
I'm not going to the GameStop I use, though, because I don't want to... I want them to still love
You
me.
have 7 days to beat a game and then return it.
Yeah. That's fucking sweet. I'm gonna do that for Jedi Fallen Order, I guess, because that launches the same day, so might as well. You think that game won't take me more than like 2 days to beat in my slow playthrough
did you see that they said it was about as long? This Pokemon is as long as the others. It's just as
Who
long.
cares? It's the fucking.
That's it. No,
No, it should be
but that's the
longer.
problem.
It's not
It's a console game as long as a 3DS
No, actually, I have mixed feelings about that because there's
with no
actually,
post game.
There's no post game that they can.
There's a 2-hour post game at most with the Battle Tower again.
Congratulations, Merry Christmas, see
Because
you in
here's
hell.
the thing, I personally feel that handheld games should have more playability compared to console games that have longer replayability. In that handheld games, because you're playing them on the go, you have more opportunities to actually play the game. So you should be able to play through the game for a longer period of time. But for console games, you should just be able to, it should be a game where...
Here's the thing.
Can I
You have
interject really
a
quick?
handheld that is a console.
That's why it's so fucking
It's
weird.
a console that is.
But I want to really quickly interject. Riptide
Close
Riptide 2003 says Grookey's final evolution looks like a glorified Harambe. I think they all look fucking awful.
Like a glorified
I think they all look fucking shit. By the way,
I think
I want to go on record.
I haven't
and say that.
actually seen them, to be honest. I haven't seen the new
Good.
the new
Don't.
Pokemon.
It burned your eyes. Grookey's evolution isn't as bad as Sobble's though. What the fuck, dude?
Oh, then I gotta look this up.
What the fuck? If you're not picking score, but okay, this is purely subjective. But what the fuck, dude?
Do you have a go-to? Okay, so I see their second form.
Oh, it's like how I felt when I saw Chestnut.
So Sobble goes from a cute dummy, basically, that's what he is, a cute dummy, to an emo kid.
Oh, they're so why didn't they? Oh God, in heaven above.
Okay, I think I
fucking
found Sobble
disaster.
Oh, what is that?
I'm fucking dead.
That's Sobble's final evolution?
Merry
That's
Christmas,
awesome.
asshole.
That looks like the Fantastic Four, the blonde chick from there.
No, nigga, this shit looks like him from Powerpuff Girls.
It's amazing.
Bro. I don't know if you saw this.
Yeah, Sergio post. What? Oh,
That's it, right?
Dude.
It's the
Oh my
fucking
God.
worst.
What is?
What
Sobble
a
looks.
catastrophe.
Look, Grookey looks kind of cool, except I never understood when Pokemon evolve. I never understood Pokemon being animals sometimes, because
And then becoming more humanoid as they evolve. Yeah,
Well, no. They get items. They just have shit on them that changes with them.
Well, I mean, hold on a second. You're gonna say this, yet my biggest complaint when they first announced this game was that the dog carries a sword. Where did they get the dog legendary?
Yeah,
Where did
I
get
don't
the sword
fucking
from?
know.
I mean-
Born with it? Did it pick it up?
Was it born?
It's a holy sword, dude. I don't know.
He's not-
Your
that's why
favorite
the
generation
shield-
has
the
a.
shield- he's not
Like
wrong.
the shield one might have cancer growing from its face, but at least you can say it grew with it.
But you see, I'll at least say this though. Your favorite gen literally has a group of fucking legendaries that are called the swords. Now, granted, the swords could be referred to.
Yeah, but it grows out of their fucking heads.
Yeah, but I mean, like, whatever, fine. They want to rip off Dark Souls. Whatever, sure. Let them have their dumb fucking new Pokemon. I don't really give a fuck. I think that like almost all of them look like shit. But cutting the ones that people like
still looks pretty good.
Cutting what people like what do they actually fucking expect for this to end up with?
Part of the cutting people like, there was 100 in, I think when X and Y came out, maybe they asked Japanese players favorite Pokemon, top 100 favorite Pokemon. Guess how much as a percentage of that list is in the game?
It's definitely below 50. I'm gonna say somewhere between 15 to 25%.
Sergio, you got a guess?
Dude, that's too
No, I'm gonna go lower. I'm gonna go from
That's
10 to
too much.
18.
You-
10 to
no, that's
18.
too high.
Wait, how much people will like the
That's
Pokemon?
too high.
Out of the 100 top
You got
100
5%
Pokemon
range.
in
Uh-huh.
Japan,
5% range.
top 100 Pokemon in Japan, there was a survey. How many of them do you think are in?
You have to choose a 5% range, Rock'em.
Okay, I'll choose from 8 to 13%.
Okay, go ahead. So,
I
yeah,
see.
it's
I say 15 to 20.
I'm gonna go with 12.
26%. So you were all a little bit more.
I undershot
See,
them.
I was the closest.
Fuck.
I was
I
26.
originally thought
But
it,
think
though.
about that. They mentioned that they
Wow.
listen to people when they have a list of the people they care most about.
And they didn't listen at
And
all.
they
From the
didn't listen at
country
all.
that they care the most about from, too.
Yeah.
They didn't give a fuck. Like, can I be honest here? I mean, I've been honest this whole time. But let me really let me speak
Oh
from
wait,
the fucking-
sorry, I was wrong. Not 26, 23. 23.
I would have been right if I'd stuck, but this dude
23.
scared me into going lower, but whatever. I just want to point out that they like Masuda had his non-apology, and I think it's a non-apology. I'm not the only person that thought that what he said was a
I
non-apology.
didn't even know he even apologized.
Exactly, because it was that fucking blasé. He basically restated what he fucking said. This is what they want to do with Pokemon. Your no amount of fan feedback, fan kickback, or whatever is going to make them change their fucking minds. It's just not going to fucking happen. They are sticking with this because that's how Game Freak is. When they decide to do something new, they stick with it until they decide to do something else. I mean, that you could say that about any human. But unless something else new comes forward. And the number one thing that people have said about Game Freak since Gen 4 is that they are increasingly lazy. And they have done less and less and less and less and less since that time. And before, I was okay with certain things. I was kind of sad about the Battle Frontier and Oranass. I was kind of sad about a couple of things in Gen 7, but they have consistently done less and less work. And that is a fact. And even if this list is entirely wrong, it is still a fact that they are still opting to cut Pokemon, and that is the final straw that people are not willing to take. People are not willing to take that straw. But, I mean, it won't matter if people go out and buy the fucking game anyway. You could be as mad as you want, but if you don't vote with your money, what does it fucking matter anyway? It doesn't matter. But as someone who has dedicated almost 20 years of my life to playing this franchise, I just cannot. I gave them 20 years of money and attention and praise and constant, putting up with weird and dumb decisions, and I just cannot anymore. I cannot do it in good faith. Now that they are cutting Pokemon with lying about models not existing and basically making us think they're either fucking beyond stupid and lazy or completely fucking retarded, I just like to think they're fucking lazy and they want to lie to us. But I can't support them in good faith anymore. And it doesn't matter what you think about all the fucking Pokemon that didn't make it, by the way, is Chansey in the game? I just thought about this. I know I'm in the middle of something.
I don't think so.
Wait,
Chansey...
Hold on a second. Wait, who's the Pokemon? That was like the other nurse Pokemon, the one from Gen...
Aldino.
Oh, Chansey is not in the game.
So
Aldino
if you want to
game.
farm experience, you can also
Because
eat shit.
Aldino, because technically England is known for their nurses as well.
Nope, no Doctor Pokemon.
But the reason I
Clefairy
brought that up is because of experience farming.
Jigglypuff isn't.
Oh, you don't have to worry about
What?
experience farming, dude.
Wait a
Experience
minute,
EXP share is on by default.
Yeah,
Run
actually
that
that's true.
by me again?
There's EXP. There is no Jigglypuff.
What?
There's Jinx in the game.
Dude, the
No.
list is the lists were posted in the
Game
Discord
Freak
if you
hates
want to look.
black people.
Jinx is not in the game.
I don't even
Cypher-
want to deal with that controversy again. Fuck it, we don't care. If you think you're gonna see Jinx in another Pokemon game anytime soon, you might be up shit's creek for a long while. You might be waiting a few fucking years to play with Pokemon. You imagine playing Ruby and Sapphire since 2003 or whatever, and you had a Pokemon you always imported forward and always played with and always had a good time with.
Fuck you.
If it's a Blaziken or something like that, whatever. Today, you had your fucking heart broken and your fucking hopes snatched in half because that's what they fucking want to do with this game now. So, in general, go fuck yourself and please give them money. But like I was saying, I have supported the shit out of this fucking company for 20 fucking years. I bought almost all their games new. At least one version per fucking generation. I have sometimes bought multiple copies of their games. I bought extra fucking game consoles with which to trade with myself. And this is just, I can't. And whether you want to say I'm tapping out because I'm a bitch, or if you understand that I just cannot support them anymore, or maybe I'm just tired of the direction the series is going in, whatever you want to call it as, that's just the way it fucking is. I've done it for 20 years. I have a fucking tenure playing these games, and I'll continue to play the fucking games I like. But fuck this. I can't. I cannot in good faith. And I'm done talking.
Wow. I agree. No, honestly, I'm not gonna say I bought every fucking game, but I also didn't buy every Nintendo console. But for every console I did buy at least one Pokemon game.
Not to mention I bought a bunch of spin-offs as well.
I mean,
and a bunch of fucking stuff. What were they called? Stuffed animals and plushies too.
I mean,
other merchandise and cards and shirts.
I have cards right in front of me. So here's the funny thing: there's a new expansion that's coming out. Actually, it came out a few days ago. And on the cover of this expansion, the Pokemon that are on it aren't there. Or they're not in the new game because it's Dialga, Giratina, and Palkia.
I think they knew they wanted to do this for a long time, but they like kind of revealed this very late. I think they flipped it so late that a lot of planning that like the anime and other things we're doing, they just aren't gonna. They won't follow this trend.
And not to say that the card game is any better in certain regards, because they literally made a couple cards with the exact same art as before. But just looking at this random assortment of cards, I mean, I got like 10 cards in my hand, and out of the 6 Pokemon here, only half of them are in, and 2 of them are evolution of each other, so it doesn't really count.
No Pidgey, but you get Pit of.
Oh yeah, because people love Pidove.
What are they gonna do for the remakes?
Fuck you.
Like
That's
N4?
Yeah, because here's the thing: if this game
no remakes,
doesn't, because I'm gonna assume that they're not forward declaring Pokemon to be in the game. Like I'm assuming that if they're cut, they're gone, because there's no. All the models that they're using right now are just all the models that they used back when they made the fucking Pokédex 3D shit when the 3DS first came out. They're just retextured.
And upscaled, yeah.
But it's the same model. It's the exact same model.
People have proven this, by the way. There's a million people that have done this on the internet.
And when the game actually comes out and people actually go into the games and look at the actual models, they're going to be like, it's the same damn thing. Wow.
It's the same damn thing.
Wow, it really was the same.
So,
after months of them saying it wasn't, by the way.
So Gen 4 is the next generation that's slated to be remade if they keep with the current trend.
If they make it.
If them making Let's Go was them just saying,
it's a
we're done.
one-off thing, yeah.
Like,
I mean, maybe.
How is that gonna work? Because Gen 4 has all the Pokemon in it, up until Gen 4.
Gen 4. That's the thing. That's what they might do from now on. They might just do this.
Just do regional.
So in the integral games, the games while you're waiting for the next generation, you're gonna have to, if you want all the Pokemon, you have to buy those games.
You can't have all the Pokemon anymore.
You can't.
So Sun and Moon is the last game you're gonna have all the Pokemon apparently.
So how you're gonna get a?
No, I'm talking about all the Pokemon up until that point. So because Gen 4 has all the Pokemon up until Gen 4.
Yeah,
correct.
493.
So, is that how they're gonna do it now? Because so then when Gen 5 gets remade, we're gonna have all the Pokemon up until Gen 5, and then I assume by that time they're gonna come up with you saying, oh yeah, okay, all the Pokemon have been made.
Can I presume something really awful?
But those.
Yo, dude, this is the future. Pokemon
remake. Why did I just reset? Those remake games.
DLC, bro.
They didn't even say they were. That's the fucked up shit. They never even said they would do that.
Can I presume?
But it is effectively DLC because you're buying the expansion pass to have access to all the Pokemon. But the remake games have always been compatible with the game of that generation.
Yeah, it won't be. That won't be.
Now
That
they're
will not be
compatible
accurate.
with
Literally, Continue.
I was gonna say now they're gonna be compatible. Only whatever Pokemon you see there in Gen 4 that are in Sword and Shield, that seems like that'll be the case. But also, I'd like to propose one other dark fucking idea. That Gen 4 had 493 Pokemon in its Pokedex. But that's the national dex. The actual Sinnoh regional dex was, I believe, 200 and 202. Or some number like that. We might be looking at a game that only has that much. They might cut Pokemon that are non-essential to the Sinnoh dex. I don't want to double down on this because that would, in theory, make it a massively inferior game to Gen 4. But that's possible because there's certain there is no current way in Gen 8 to trade or import or breed or whatever certain Pokemon into Gen 8. And if the next remakes are Sinnoh, and even though in theory Pokemon like Bulbasaur and Squirtle should be allowed in those games, there is no way to get those Pokemon in Gen 8 without importing. And they might just not put those Pokemon in the game. They think 400 is a cozy number. They might cut some. I mean, that's how open-ended this is. They might not even remake fucking Pokemon games no more.
No, because what they've done right now, they really screwed the pooch by doing this. I specifically not because what I would have done if I was going to continue making Pokemon remakes, I would have just said all the Pokemon are in the game. You may not be able to get them, but they're in the game at the very least.
Yeah.
From what it seems like, they're not even made. Like they're not forward declared. They don't exist in the game.
Yeah, Game Freak does not forward declare. They have never done that. That just does not. Well, they haven't done it since Gen 5. I'll say that. Gen 6 they stopped forward declaring. They just don't give a fuck. I thought at the time it's because they were working on new console. I basically had their fucking excuse lined up in my head. It's a new console. They don't know what they're doing. But you get to a point and it's just like, well, how long are you not going to know what the fuck you're doing? Like, at what point do you actually just figure out what you're doing? And I don't know. For Game Freak, it seems that answer's fucking never. It just is never going to happen. And, I understand that, and again, this is to be quite fair. I'm not saying that everything ever in a Pokemon game should return. But the concept of Pokemon is a collection game. You're supposed to catch them all. I mean, that literally is the fucking tagline of the series for the longest.
They brought that back for the previous. They recently brought it back. They lost it in XY and they brought it back. Why the fuck did they bother?
That's the point. You're supposed to catch all these Pokemon. Now, whatever means you use, I'm not gonna say cheating, like action replay or whatever. But if you want to trade to get your Pokemon, if you want to breed or level up and evolve and do whatever, that's fine. But that's the point of the whole game, the point of the whole series. And obviously, the game only rewards you technically up till I think the regional dex. Sometimes I think they reward you up to the national dex. If they want to give the rewards at the regional dex, whatever. I'm not gonna complain. I think that if they think 1,000, which we're not at 1,000 by the way, the number currently is 899 including Melmetal and Meltan. But if they want to say that 1,000 Pokemon is unwieldy and they don't expect people to fucking do it, then fine. Reward the people who go the extra 400 Pokemon, and then leave the rest for the collectors who basically built this shit from the grassroots. The people who cared from day one. That's what the Pokemon is the primary fucking thing about the series. If this series lacks Pokemon, I don't care how good the fucking humans look. I don't give a shit. I don't care about Marnie and her fan of fucking rabbit incels. I don't give a shit. I care about the Pokemon. And that's all I care about. Everything else is nice. It's cool that, the humans look better, and that's been something that's been going on and on, But at what cost? At the cost of hundreds of Pokemon, a lot of favorites of people, because everybody likes every fucking Pokemon. You ask enough people, you'll fill in every fucking Pokemon. Everybody likes fucking everything, which is fine. But just no, it's not good enough.
It's also begs the question, when they make a Pokemon game, and let's compare it to other Nintendo properties here, especially for this recent years. Pokemon has the benefit of being able to do the exact same shit over and over and over again. The story is you're some brat from some fucking shithole town who gets out of place, fights one bad group.
Hold on a second. New Bark City ain't a shithole town. That's where I grew up, dude.
The mean streets.
First of all, here's the funny thing. Here's how I know you didn't actually grow up there, Sergio. It's New Bark Town.
Oh!
So, I don't know where the fuck you think you came from. But it ain't there. Regardless, you go from a shithole with 2 houses, which is fine because it was a goddamn Game Boy, to, go on an adventure because your mom is terrible and steals your fucking money. Whatever.
Good
and your dad left you to work at a gym that is like 3 blocks away. Who cares? Fuck you. You're a kid.
And then you fight God, you defeat a bunch of criminals.
You fight a bunch of criminals, and eventually tell them you're bad. You should stop being bad. And they're like, you know what? My 30 fucking years on this earth of me working towards world domination to control
actually getting away with it for the most part.
Literally doing whatever the fuck I want. You know what this 10-year-old's gonna tell me what the I don't listen to this fucking 10-year-old when I have a son that I don't even listen to. Who I abandoned just like this kid was abandoned.
Is like, okay, boomer, whenever
whatever you say.
At this point, that's the whole game should just say, okay, boomer, every time. And besides that,
silence.
We're talking about a game. We're talking about a game formula that has never changed since 1996.
I'll actually interject Coliseum because I want to.
I'm talking mainline only. I'm exclusively talking mainline because this is Game Freak's touching. This is Game Freak only. I'm not going to talk about what Genius did because they're geniuses.
Yes,
it's fine. They don't exist anymore.
Okay. Well, they actually do, which is why I'm saying it's time to. We've been waiting for.
So we're talking about 1996 was Pokemon Red, right? Red and Blue. I was gonna say green, but Red and Blue. And we've had the same situation since then. You go, whatever, right? You go through the same journey over and over and over and over and over. What has Mario been doing? Mario went from 2D side scroller,
3D,
karting, to
party.
No. I'm not talking about side. I'm talking about just main game.
Okay,
2D and 3D. We got just jumping in 2D. Now we got jumping with some powers.
Jumping with a
then we got
water cannon.
Then we got jumping. We got jumping in 3D. Then we got jumping with the water cannon. Then we got jumping in fucking space with gravity.
And then we did it again.
And then we did it again because whatever.
Milk it.
And now we're in another fucking universe at this goddamn point with millions of powers. You can possess people, and now I feel like I'm about to do an XQC rant with the fucking Legend of Zelda. Another one.
Every time
the 2D one,
above and beyond.
You got the 2D one, overhead. Then you went a side scroller one because fuck you, why not?
Castlevania was hot.
You go back to the 2Ds. You get some 3D in there. 3D one that revolutionized the entire existence of 3D. You got a 3D one with a story that's talking about the end of the fucking world where the main character might not even be alive. Like, what the fuck? You got
another one where you're sailing.
You got another one where you're a guy. You're sailing. You're sailing with a completely different art style, with a completely different tone, and a completely different purpose.
We have matured.
Now you're going to the. Now you're going to fucking hell on earth, and you're a dog. You're a goddamn dog. You go to the sky. You go to heaven. You go to heaven.
I like
and
this
you fight with
position.
It's.
Look how much, but the point he's making is
these are the 3 biggest franchises Nintendo has.
Every time all these other franchises go above and beyond to deliver pretty much as they fucking can. I don't even like Skyward Sword. I think the motion control.
But we went into space.
But at least Skyward Sword committed to its vision of having this realistic like sword play. I didn't like it, but I think that overall it's still a good game as a result.
That's probably more of a fault of the Wii. That's part of the Wii's fault.
I think it's just the Wii's fault. But
they did it. They went
worked.
somewhere.
I mean, they made a peripheral.
Then we're not even done with Legend of Zelda. Now we got this open world survival-ish with like a real straight up adventure physics engine.
Everyone's saying it's actually changed open world games forever.
It might have made a huge impact in the gaming sphere. Pokemon has not changed. And if you want to compare a monster collector with a monster collector, be like, oh, those are different games, it's adventures, it's platformers. Digimon Cyber Sleuth story.
Oh no, you can't do that.
Not only does this shit have, it doesn't have 900 Digimon, but it has a full-fledged story. It has 2 completely different stories. It has a main character that isn't retarded. It has voice acting. It has so many animations for fights. and it's a story. It's a fucking story.
It's an actual
You're saying
RPG.
this, but you didn't even mention the fact that Pokemon has competition. Not even Digimon. Digimon, miss me with that shit. They have Yokai Watch to deal with.
Yokai Watch, a game that actually outsold them in some generations. You're getting beat by a fucking 8-year-old's game because you don't understand what 8-year-olds want, and you don't understand what people who played your game originally want.
I'd like to point out that I did play Cyber Sleuth for a little bit. I didn't think it was a bad game. I actually really liked it, and I know nothing about Digimon. But from what I played of it, like, it was like a chapter or 3 I played of it. And it was really interesting. Like, it had a good story, it had good characters, like, you could develop your Digimon, you know, in various different ways. You're doing side quests. It felt like, I don't want to say Persona, but like that type of RPG
it was an
where
old
you have
school
combinations.
RPG, honestly.
But it also had monster elements, and that's what makes it so interesting. But
it was a monster collecting RPG.
To latch on to what Andy said, right? Like, let's talk about some of the lesser fucking franchises at Nintendo, right? Fire Emblem completely fucking changed. Now, whether you like the new changes or not, Fire Emblem has
saved their asses
so fucking far because of the change that they made to the art style, the gameplay, and everything. But my personal one that I have to talk about is look at Metroid. Metroid. I don't even know how we got to fucking Super Metroid. I'm gonna be completely real with you. I'm surprised that Metroid survived after the fucking second game, because I thought that game was fucking shit. But I digress. The point that I'm trying to make is that Super Metroid comes out, everybody fucking loves it. It's like the pinnacle of 2D side-scrolling open-ended gameplay. And then, you know, Prime comes out, and that's like revolutionary 3D style gameplay. And then Fusion, I like it. A lot of people are mixed on it because of how linear it is. Metroid, you know, they keep making games until 2010 with Other M. I'm not going to get into that. Complete shit show. Cringy, awful fucking story, awful dialogue, awful voice acting, everything about it terrible. But when Metroid goes out on a real outing to WoW, like with Prime or Samus Returns, they play for fucking keeps. And that's really what I want to say, is like Metroid has to go so much fucking harder to sell infinitely fucking less. All these other franchises, you would think that Zelda, they could just pump out 8 dungeons and call it a fucking day. And they go hard in the paint. They dedicate themselves to core gameplay systems and ideas. Mario just does Mario stuff. I mean,
but every Mario game is different. The way you can traverse, the way you move is, and how it's incredible that a fucking platformer has this many ways of being played. When you
Mario is mostly about movement. Like, even from the start,
it is a lot of different ways of moving, though, right? Every single game you have to use the system as best you can to get to where you gotta go, and they design the world around it.
It might not be like revolutionizing the wheel every time, but at least like with Zelda and Mario, they do try to have a different flavor. So like Wind Waker is a lot of open world sailing, you know, your ship-based stuff.
I can legitimately say with Mario, the gameplay is very different every time, except for the Galaxy.
At least for 3D. I'm thinking of the 3D one.
3D. I'm saying 3D, 2D, not so much.
Yeah.
Because it's 2D. They just implement it, and they also got lazy with the new moniker. But regardless, the movement that you can do in Galaxy is you got the funny spinny thing, you got the gravity waves. In Sunshine, you're dealing with the jetpack, and in 64 you have a bunch of different moves.
Movement, yeah.
They cut out some 64 moves, but the 64 moves makes it that kind of stuff. And then Odyssey has a completely different way of moving, and you can use the hat, and you got all this stuff. They think of new things every time. Pokemon is, well, we had the special split.
That was pretty big. I'll give them that.
Which was extremely important to the balance, to making the game a real RPG, to be honest, and making more sense. And then we had nothing until Megas.
3D evolution, yeah, Megas.
And then Z moves, which are,
sure.
I mean, both of them are one shots in any one fight.
I'll take it. Yeah, I'll take it.
And now we have Gigantamax without anything else.
I'm gonna be a contrarian for a second.
Pokemon didn't need any changes into the formula.
Here's the thing. Neither did Mario, neither did Zelda.
They still
did.
I mean, they did it. No, I mean, sure.
See, this is we're not talking about. Look.
It's been a waste of time because.
Go ahead.
Because I think it's personally a waste of time because they acted as if, this new feature is going to be ported to all the future games. You're going to have access to it for all the future games. At least with Zelda, you know from the get-go. Okay, the new game it's not gonna have the features from the last game. They've never set that expectation up.
No.
There has been a
that's
couple
false.
features that have remained
false.
consistent in every one of those
I'm talking
games.
about like each new Zelda game has had something new. It's been I wouldn't say a new format type game outside of Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time, but every new Zelda game has changed the formula inside a significant way.
They haven't changed the formula.
They've
You're
retained a
misunderstanding.
lot of
You're
stuff.
misunderstanding
to be
something.
fair.
What you're saying is they're changing the formula. No, they changed the gimmick. The one thing that the game is focused on, or the game is most heavily influenced by. Pokemon never did that. And their
Pokemon's
RPG
gimmick is
system,
literally the Pokemon. You can't really get around that.
Well,
at
they
any
added
given
gimmicks
point.
that what I'm trying to say is that they added gimmicks that they were like, okay, these gimmicks are gonna be ported forward for every future Pokemon game. Like
except
until
today.
Until today. And that's
Well, Z-moves, technically speaking, Z-moves were apparently never made with the intention of moving forward. They were last gen.
At the very
This
least,
is the current gen. Megas were made for 2 gens, pretty much. Which is what makes them even more pathetic.
Well, because they're trying to, again, change the formula, which I don't think they need
Well,
to.
here's
I
the
don't think
thing.
they need to do anything. They just need to add new Pokemon, add new abilities, focus on the competitive, balance them, and then
I don't want Game
have a
Freak
story
to
in a
balance anything.
Uh,
Game Freak
balancing-
has not balanced
balancing is
anything
second.
ever for the last 7
No,
gens.
of course. I'm just saying that's all they have to do. I don't think they need to add anything
Well,
new.
I mean, I think they're 20 years too late to try to balance Pokemon. I'm going to say that. So them trying to
I would
now...
have rather them balance the entire game than try to think of Z moves and Mega Evolutions.
I would
Here's the
think
thing,
a
you
lot
wouldn't
of
want that. You
people-
wouldn't want that.
You wouldn't want that.
To be honest, balancing for competitive in Pokemon is pointless. That's not the point. That's not the point of the game. Balancing is subjective anyway. Some Pokemon are obviously going to be better than others. There's 900 of them. Who cares? And some Pokemon are kind of there as gags anyway, so it's fine.
I mean, some Pokemon get in because they're fucking memes anyway.
Yeah, so it's like whatever. What I'm saying, Sergio, when I compare it to Mario and Zelda, is every one of them has a central focus. Pokemon's focus has been the exact same thing every game, in and out, and no matter what. They've yet to change anything about the way the RPGing works, with the exception of difficulty. Honestly, recently, it's been worse and worse in terms of difficulty. And it's become more... It's the level of ease is another problem with this game, but that's whatever. It's for children, even though technically speaking, how old were we when we first played Mario Brothers? Just saying. And they didn't give a fuck. When Super Mario All-Stars came out, they did not give a fuck. They put it in the lost levels. They didn't give a fuck. If you can beat it, eat a dick. If you can't beat it, eat a dick. Who cares?
And like,
what I'm saying is, look, well, basically what I'm saying is, if Pokemon, instead of, first of all, spending a lot of energy lying to niggas,
they did
lie a lot.
Honesty goes a long way. But yeah, continue.
We got a genius. I'm gonna use genius because it's the first example of it. Each game told a story with the central premise, which was Shadow Pokemon, and they told stories. And if you want to be a collectathon, let it be a collectathon. If you want to tell a story, let it be a story. This new game is gonna do neither. It's gonna do nothing. You're gonna get the same value out of Sword and Shield as you would if you looked on fucking Bulbapedia to look up the fucking images of the Pokemon. Because that's all you're fucking getting. Because the battle system is you're not gonna feel any different. Oh, you might see some Gigantamax, but you're not feeling anything different from that. Like, that's the biggest thing. And lol, big, but whatever. It's just, it's a level of abandonment that I think only someone like a game like F-Zero understands. But at least F-Zero doesn't exist.
It can't feel pain if it doesn't exist.
You can say, where's the F-Zero games? You can't say F-Zero's gotten bad. There are none. So it doesn't matter. It's fine.
The last one people liked, yeah.
So it's fine. They don't take, like, this is a series that's been going on for 20, 25 years almost. I'm
gonna take a different stance from Andy.
Mm-hmm.
First off, fuck Game Freak. That's my opening statement. I want to make that very clear.
Of course.
No, but I'm gonna get it very in depth. You cannot for fucking 20 years. Okay, actually, I'm gonna take that back because they did reboot Pokemon in 2003. So you cannot for 16 years and basically root the entire premise of your franchise on forward porting. Things are, you can take your hard work and push it forward. You can take whatever, you know, people make emotional bonds with their Pokemon. People do whatever. I don't care. Whatever fucking reason you have under the sun. You can't for 16 years say we're going to do that. It's included. It's everything. And then on the 17th year, turn around and say, well, if you like it, maybe it'll be in. And if not, well, there's no recourse for that. You could eat shit. And I think the biggest problem with that, beyond the lying, which was completely unnecessary and has been proven time and time again that they did lie, is that they also take... They basically made the whole pretense of this series that we're going to have these features. Like, yeah, not all features return. Some features get rouletted. I don't know any other fucking video game series where they do this, where they actively take things that people are like, yes, please bring it back, and spit on it and put it in the fucking shed.
And be snarky about it as well.
And be like, oh, well, we like to keep a rotation of the things people... I don't know any other fucking video game series that does that off the top of my head. Now, someone could feel free to tell me that, but like stuff like the Versus Seeker, the phone calling, all this other stuff, you look at some other games that come out, and if they're not in complete overhauls, like Assassin's Creed has overhauled itself numerous times across its lifespan, they're damn sure bringing back pretty much everything people like. Unless they're like EA and they fucking lie. So basically what I'm trying to say on this one part is that they basically pulled an EA. They kind of lie to people. But people are okay with it because they get to keep their hard work for the most part. And, you know, new stuff gets added that's cool. New systems get added like breeding and whatnot. And new things happen. So people are okay with it. And I don't think that you can really kind of conjecture what Game Freak's intention behind this is. They just want to do less work. But let's really think about how much fucking work they put into a Pokemon game, right? We've already stated that they don't make a conscious effort to bring back everything people like. And obviously the stuff people don't like, fine, get rid of it, who cares? But they consistently do less and less work on each Pokemon game. The models, like, yeah, it's a time-saving thing. How you implement it or whatever, it's a time-saving thing. I don't think that they should redo every fucking model, which is what they kind of implied that they do, which is absurd to even begin to believe that. If you honestly think that, I got bad news for you, and I have a bridge to sell you as well. But they do less and less work each fucking time. And all the time, people ask them to bring back different features and bring back different things, but never once has anyone ever said, I want a game with all the Pokemon in it, because that has just been a fucking game. In fact, to go back to what Andy said, they brought Coliseum and XD had support for Pokemon you can't even acquire in those games. You can't even acquire half the Hoenn Pokemon in those games. Those games have a set list of 51 or so Pokemon plus their evolutions, and that's it in Coliseum. And in XD it's more like 120 out of the 386 that existed. And you can't even acquire those Pokemon in those games. But not only does Coliseum forward compatible with Fire Red, Leaf Green, Pokemon from XD, as well as Emerald, and you can trade Pokemon between all these games freely, these games also have all the data built in for Pokemon that didn't even fucking get distributed until 4 years later, like Deoxys. So there's absolutely zero reason why forward declaration should be an issue in the era of fucking patching. And if you want to say maybe, well, the 3DS is a mobile console, we don't have that with the Switch. A Switch has to get to the dock at some point. That's non-fucking issue. And people can sync patch data, which they did in the Game Boy era, by the way, so that's not anything new. But the point I'm trying to make here is that they're fucking lazy. There's no other three ways around it. I don't know any other franchise that does what Pokemon fucking does. And even if I did know that, I don't know what other franchise that removes stuff that people like that isn't immediately met with backlash and disdain and annoyance and fury. Like, for instance... Sure, but for instance, when Call of Duty Ghosts didn't have Search and Destroy, people were up in arms that they would remove what basically people consider to be as iconic of a game mode as Team Deathmatch. And what did they do? They just put the fucking game mode in. They said, sorry, we'll put it in. And that's it. And there was no further drama. You know why? Because they gave people what they wanted. And I guarantee you, if you ask anybody ahead of time, well, we want to have this feature, this feature, this feature, this feature, this feature, or we can have all the Pokemon in. people would have chosen the Pokemon every time. Every single time. Because that is what the iconic part of Pokemon is. Like, Zelda games have gimmicks, whether it's sailing or swordplay or whatever, but the principal concept of just exploration, action-adventure, whatever, has never changed. For Mario, action-adventure and platforming has never changed. For Metroid, the literal exploration and action-adventure has never changed. So when you take away half of the goal that people already know is there, you basically shorten the race. It's not as fun to get to the conclusion because it's half as easy. And not everyone wants to race, and that's fine. You know, some people beat Pokemon, not like speedrunners, but some people beat Pokemon, maybe catch 10 Pokemon. Maybe only use 4. That's fine. And that's the beauty of Pokemon, is that it's such an open-ended game that people can play however they want. Speed runs of it, randomizer runs, you know, all this crazy shit. There's a million new ways. There's a whole genre of video on YouTube where people try to beat Pokemon with, you know, X Pokemon. They don't evolve it. It only knows a certain move. That sprung up in the last, like, year. And people, you know, people have spent a lot of time in that. And I just think that by removing all these fucking Pokemon, like, yeah, these games will be good. Will they be fun games to play? Sure. They'll, you know, you'll play it for maybe a month. You'll beat it or whatever, however long it takes. But is it something to go back to? Is it something really to say, well, it has none of the Pokemon I like that I know exist and are just sitting in some online data storage for, like, years at a time, but at least I got to play the game with fucking Basculin and Cottony, you know, like, that's really what people are looking forward to.
Yeah,
and
people want wishy-washy, man.
Yeah, and wishy-washy as well. People, specifically, though, they mentioned, and I'm gonna bring up this lie as well, they mentioned that they also made this change to reduce the development time for making Pokemon games. You guys have released a new Pokemon game every year, except for 3 years. I forget what they were. It was like 2008, 2006.
I think it was between console generations.
And 2015.
No, after
they didn't make a Pokemon
Sapphire,
game.
There was, after Ruby and Sapphire, Emerald took forever to come out.
Fire Red was the next year.
Yeah, and Fire
Not to
came out after
mention
Ruby
Coliseum and... Yeah, it came out after Ruby and Sapphire.
A year after? Are you sure?
Yeah,
'Cause I know there was a huge gap. Okay, let me double check.
I know that there's like 3 years that they missed. It depends on what region you look at.
I think that those years that were missed were between...
it's 2015 as well, by the way. 2015, there was nothing new between Oranass and Sun and Moon. I forget what the other 2 years were. But I don't count before Ruby and Sapphire because that's the whole clusterfuck era. I give them a pass for, you know, 96 to 2003. I give them a pass for that. Ruby and Sapphire might have been 2002. It might have been 2003, there was nothing. And then Coliseum came out. But it's weird because Pokemon games used to be staggered by region. So it's hard to say for sure. But they basically release a Pokemon game every year. They're acting like this market is starved of games. Like it's F-Zero and we only release a game once every 20 years. Like, at what point do we just sit down and say, that's a fucking lie? Like, how many different ways they gotta spin the truth? I don't know. I don't fucking know, man.
Well, it's so I'm gonna make one prediction at this point. I'm pretty much done. Score wise, Metacritic score will be in the high 70s, low 80s, with IGN giving it one of the higher scores.
Yep.
And user scores will be in the...
Don't even bother.
4s.
I think you're giving it credit.
Okay, if they show...
No, the reason I'm saying 4 in...
No, I'm talking about you saying that
the
the
reviews
going to be rated highly by critics. I disagree.
Oh, yeah, well, I think overall
critics,
it'll be.
Yeah.
First of all, I didn't really say highly. I said low 80s to high 70s. That's not really good for a Pokemon game.
Too much water. 7.8.
The reason why I disagree is that if here's the thing, you can tell when a game is gonna be bad. Like when they start showing off a game 6 months before the release, and there's still like crucial issues with how animations work. You see popping, you can generally tell that game's not going to be fixed by release. I have yet to see a game in which 6 months prior to release, they show off the game, like as this is the build that they show off that they think is acceptable to show off at the very least. And they go back and fix things. No, those are the reason why the build looks like that is because it's unfixable.
Yeah.
I'd
The reason
like to point out
I
that
say
you
the
just-
score I say is because that's generally where Pokemon mainline games
Yeah, it
end.
usually lands there. But
I don't know. I
say
think
that
the critics will listen. I mean, they shouldn't do it, but I think they're not gonna. I think they're going to judge the games harshly.
I think that. I mean, I usually don't listen to critics really. Sorry about that. I usually don't listen to critics because, like, if anything, the movie industry has taught me to never listen to fucking critics. So I usually don't listen to the gaming industry because that's an even bigger clusterfuck sometimes. But what I will say is I don't. So I think that it'll get the usual gambit of 7.5 to a 9 because people are gonna play it. It'll be on the Switch. They'll probably note the controversy about the national decks and stuff. But I mean, whatever.
The final line will be like, even without all the Pokemon, there's Pokemon. It's
which
whatever.
is fair. Like if people want to just enjoy it as a solitary experience, right? That's fine. You know, if you just want to take a Pokemon game, play the game, and just enjoy the game in existence, that's fine. I'll put an asterisk there because after my next point, I'm going to come back to that. But the whole point of Pokemon is that it's a continuous experience and journey. So by making Pokemon unobtainable in your version or in that generation, you have essentially dead-ended that. Like, you can't get it. That was the whole point of Pokemon, is that it's fine when it's a single-player experience, but this isn't really something you look forward to because who knows, one, if the Pokemon you can't catch in Sword and Shield, when we get to the next games down the line, like Gun and Cannon, will I be able to not catch certain other Pokemon? And will they be the same like the Pokemon I've raised in Sword and Shield? Can I not import them into that? Because that's the precedent we're setting, and it's just a really, really bad precedent. Because it basically says, well, all your work here, you might not ever really get any usage out of it for like 5 years, 10 years. Who even fucking knows? A lot, like maybe they have some algorithm that recommends them certain Pokemon to get in, but realistically speaking, why even take that risk? Why not just have all the Pokemon in the game? And it's not like it's a data limit that we're hitting. You know, it's not like oh well back in the old days we were cramming it on cartridges. We had to read from the same slot of data several times for different things. It's not like that anymore. These games cost take up 40 gigs or whatever, which I doubt even then. Then so
that's
be
still
it.
that's still smaller than
yeah, like Battlefield takes up fucking
Switch games. I'm not even talking about like full on PC games.
But yeah, like you think about all these other games that take up hundreds of gigabytes, whatever. Like games do what they're gonna do. If you're gonna take a memory, you're gonna take a memory. And obviously the Switch can't do that because it doesn't have the space like that. But whatever, we'll just pretend that it's like an 8 gigabyte game or whatever. That's not gonna stop people from buying it. That will be a non-fucking issue. It's Pokemon. No one is gonna fucking stop that. But that's not the issue. The issue isn't the resources because they already made the fucking resources. That's the whole point. The issue isn't the lack of ideas because Pokemon has been 20 years to develop and test new ideas and they get overwhelming feedback every single fucking day. Every day. And they got a lot of feedback after that announcement. Let me tell you, I was watching some of that. But what is it really? Is it a time constraint? Because if it's a time constraint, after launch, they could always patch stuff in later. That's literally the era we live in.
They don't want to, though.
That's the issue. Yes, and you're right. And that's what it comes down to ultimately. Is it's not a time thing. It's not a resource thing. It's not a idea thing. It's not a memory issue. They just don't fucking want to. And why wouldn't Game Freak want to make their consumers happy? Why wouldn't they want to give them the best product possible? Why wouldn't they want to do that? Because one, they know they're going to make their money anyway, and two, because they're fucking lazy. And I unless they're fucking malicious, they like watching their customers in pain. I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt here. They like annoying
biggest franchise. They probably do love it. And here's the thing: any of the upper management of the Pokemon Company could retire right now, and Nintendo could go completely under, and they'd still be rich.
They'd still be afloat. Yeah.
They'd still be afloat. They could never make another Pokemon game again, and they'd still be good.
They'd have residuals for over a decade.
Sell anime and sell just sell nostalgia.
Merch.
That's all you have to do.
Merch.
Yeah, the merch is huge, by the way, for Pokemon. Yeah.
Merch. No, you gotta keep saying it.
Yeah, merch.
That's like so much money.
And
here's the thing. I don't think that the new Pokemon merchandise sells well. It's always the old shit. It's always the Gen 1 shit. That
Well,
sells
no.
well.
I'm gonna have to say there's a false equivalent. It's true, but it's also disingenuous to say that. I'm gonna say it's true, but it's disingenuous in the sense that that's all they fucking sell in the first place. They don't let you even try the new shit.
yeah, they very rarely sell new shit. Like, maybe you have to go to Nintendo NYC, shout out, to get, like, a Rowlet plushie. But usually, like, they sell Gen 1. But that's fine, you know, whatever makes them the money.
When I was in Japan, and I went to the Pokemon Center DX in Japan, majority of stuff was Gen 1 stuff. Yeah, I went there.
Oh, fuck me.
Majority of the stuff was Gen 1 stuff. Even merchandise that was not like a plush, that had Pokemon on it, Gen 1 Pokemon, Eevee and Pikachu. It's the only thing they would sell.
Yeah, because Let's Go is big. Yeah.
Yeah.
But sure, no, I mean, whatever works, right? Like, that's what they want to do, sure. But again, it comes to the point that I feel like almost any other company besides EA would see this kind of fucking kickback and be like, well, what the fuck? We gotta fucking do something.
It's
like,
just, what surprises me is that Nintendo is like
has not stepped in.
Doesn't say a word.
They haven't, yeah, because they know it'll make money. The whole of it comes down to they know it's gonna make money. Like, I'll bring up a counterexample. Assassin's Creed, when it was really bad in 2014 and 15, they took a year off. They listened to fan feedback. They came back with something that's actually pretty good.
So do you think Nintendo would make that move?
They did it with Metroid, but that's also because Metroid is Metroid.
Also, Game Freak gets the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, they get a lot of benefits of the doubt because they
got them so much money.
And they to this day
Game Freak isn't even their biggest subsidy that makes them anymore with the Pokemon branding.
Yeah, it's Niantic. Niantic makes way more with Pokemon
Which, fun fact, is owned by Google, so I think Google contributes more to the Pokemon franchise than
I'm going to watch the anime instead of playing the games. At least the anime I can fantasize, dude.
The anime needs to make a major shift too, but they're figuring out their animation before they're doing anything.
Speaking of the anime, like, that's another thing. People are like, okay, the character designs for the Pokemon are garbage, but you know what they substituted with? Actual good animation. The animation for the newest season has been...
Yeah, they did it because they fluid. It's fluid. It's about fluidity. It's the same thing with the new... Oh, sorry. Malcolm hasn't seen it. The Broly movie.
Oh!
They changed the art style to make the movement better. And it looks so good. And look, Sun and Moon is the same thing. They also picked a completely different direction for Sun and Moon, which was fuck adventure. This is a slice of life, dude.
Yeah.
We're just gonna fucking chill with our Pokemon. This is a Lola, baby.
And kind of based on the games, yeah.
It's a Lola, baby. It's chill, man.
It's so chill, man. But we still have all the Pokemon, and we still have a good time. And now look where we are now.
And the funny thing is, you know, here's actually
yeah, go ahead.
Including the anime. You know that they're going to every region in the anime, right?
Yeah. Why do we not have a Pokemon game that does that? We're at the point where we have the power, the memory, the time. Like, if that was the game they were waiting...
Dude, that's the shit I was fantasizing back when I was...
Yes, that's the game we all wanted. I was
like fucking 8. I'm like, yo, how cool would it be if we could leave Sinnoh? I was an 8 when I went to Sinnoh.
Leave
like,
X. No, you were not. That was Hoenn.
Silver came out. I was like, so they're gonna do this shit for every Pokemon game, right?
I'm like yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, I thought they were gonna. I was like, okay, Hoenn's far away because they did say that in the anime. Hoenn's really far away.
Hoenn's far compared to Johto and Kanto, but you know.
So I'm like, that's fine. And then Sinnoh, I was like, oh, Sinnoh's far too, man.
Sinnoh's farther.
It's up in the north. It's up in Hokkaido.
It's actually right. It's actually the funny thing is Sinnoh is technically speaking right above
Kanto.
Hoenn, actually.
What? Wouldn't it be Kanto?
Yeah, it's actually Hoenn based on what they.
Wait,
no, was this Kanto that they said?
Hoenn's in the south. Kanto's
in the
based
north.
on Tokyo.
Hoenn's in the north. Kanto is one of the more southern regions.
What?
Well, you don't put it on the actual Japanese map. There's a Pokemon map.
No,
oh,
the Pokemon map is a Japanese map for the most
part. No, it's not exactly. It's not exactly the same.
It's close enough.
Distances are very different for it.
But it's still the same island shape.
Like, no, you're right. But the distances are hugely different.
I would just like to say
like Hokkaido's deep. The Kanto region and Hokkaido are fucking far from each other. But Sinnoh and Kanto aren't that far.
Well, Sinnoh and Johto are apparently not that far away because they had the Sinjo. See, now look at all this delicious lore we're never gonna.
Look at this lore that never happened, actually.
There it is.
What? Where is this official? I'd love to see a saw somewhere.
Why can't this be a game? How wild
I'd
would
actually like to see what the sauce on this is. To be completely frank with you, this feels like fan fiction. I'm not gonna lie.
This actually really does look
This
more
look
like
fan
fiction.
fiction. I love you, dude, but
yeah, it's fan fiction because there's regions here that don't exist.
Yep,
yeah,
this is wrong.
this dude throwing a fan. But look, but for real, don't delete it, right? And I should almost put it up on the fucking video. I'm too lazy to do it. Fuck it, I'll do it. But the point that I'm trying to make with this, right, is that look at how much different shit is in this region. Imagine a Pokemon game with this many places to go to and this much stuff to do. And that doesn't mean like every fucking place has to have some crazy fucking bullshit in it, right? Like, I'm not going to sit here and say they have to put in like 800 different things and but think about the scope of some of the biggest games that you've played on console. And for me, and I think maybe for Andy as well, the easy thing to look at is Odyssey. Take a look at a game like fucking Odyssey. I mean, obviously the Switch can't fucking do that. But, like, take a look at a game like Odyssey or Origins or what have you, and think about the scope of how much that game is. There are points in that game, even if you just go from region to region to region, doing whatever, exploring, doing different things, there's just a point you hit where, like, you just never double back. You just keep doing new things, seeing new stuff, getting new gear, and, the core basis of the game never changes, but at the same time, you're constantly getting new shit, and things are constantly moving and changing around you. And that's what's fun about those games for me, is that it's this big open world. You can literally almost look back like 20 hours and remember what used to fucking happen. And what used to be a thing that people, you would fight and do or whatever. And then I look at a game like Pokemon, and it's like, well, it's like the same 3 regions. And that's, I promise you that's going to be this gen. And the sad thing is that even if I'm wrong, right? And by the way, I just put it on screen. This is what he showed us. The nice, the fake map. But even if I'm wrong, right? How much do you have to fucking work to have a Pokemon game have replayability, to have extra shit? And they'd have to fucking work a lot. They'd have to have something like...
making a game. Wow.
That's also
doing
the other
work.
part of, yeah,
wow.
It's not like they're not paid royally for this either. That's the other thing.
Dude, it's the biggest franchise in the world.
It's the biggest entertainment franchise in human history. They get paid. I mean, maybe they don't make that money themselves. Like, I mean, but the games do.
They probably make a.
Games make a fuck ton, and because of the games,
know what devs make.
They sell a fuck lot. Like, and that's what really kind of fuck. Yeah, this map is what I understand it to be. Like, Hoenn is rotated 90 degrees because that's, it's the real world map that they're basing it off of. And I think the Hoenn map might be wrong. Like, they don't show north and south on it, is what I mean. But, like, this is what I understand to be the map of the Pokemon world. And they could have a Pokemon game that's that massive. I take a look at a lot of JRPGs, like Tales of Vesperia is on the Switch. That's a pretty open-ended fantasy-style game.
Dragon Quest XI is 2 games in 1.
And that they went above and beyond for that. But I mean, Dragon Quest is big in Japan. That's like a big thing.
Pokemon is bigger than Dragon Quest. I'll tell you that much.
And why does it feel like Pokemon is made by an indie?
Why does it feel like it's... Yeah, I was going to say, Pokemon's acting like they're an indie company.
You are quite literally the antithesis of an indie company at this point.
You are some of the grandfathers of
RPGs. Jesus, we're in tune.
We are scarily calculate the Pokemon company in terms of like GDP? Like, do they rival nations?
GDP? Maybe some African nations. I mean, again, that's
just
because
profit?
That'd be easy.
Yeah.
For the Pokemon company or Game Freak?
The Pokemon company.
Like just all like Pokemon as a fucking block of money. You could probably get somewhere. I don't know if you can because yeah. But I'd like to think that there's maybe one country that's like worth 500,000 or some shit. Yeah, that'd be fucking hilarious. But anyway,
revenue is undisclosed, but profit. Wait, what?
All right. Their total known worldwide sales is 6.4 billion USD.
That's pretty fucking sweet.
Last year they made 3 billion outside of Asia alone.
Jesus. And that's Pokemon Go. Go merch. And
sorry, that was just merch.
That's just a chunk. It might be the
that
biggest
was
chunk.
was just merch.
It might be the biggest chunk, but that's not even 100% of what they made. And I just feel like every time it's like we can't get a straight fucking thing out of these fuckers, and it bothers me. It's like, why can't we just get a game where they have the stuff that people want? Like why is it constantly, well, Pokemon has to get scaled back? What? But like, for what reason? And like before, you could say, well, they're limited by how much they could fit on a cart, right? And with the 3DS games, there's a limit to how much storage you can put on a 3DS cart, and it wouldn't be fair.
On the Pokemon Company's official site, based on some figures in March of 2019 and one figure is August of 2019. Their video games have sold over 340 million units. The trading card game has made 27.2 billion card shipments in 13 languages and 77 regions. 169 areas, as they call it areas. 169 areas have the anime. 80.08 million of moviegoers with 85.5 billion yen in box office revenue based on 1998 through 2018. Release products of over 600 licensees to their product lines, and Pokemon centers carry about 4,500 types of product according to their official website. And those are the only numbers they officially release.
Wait, what was the number you said in terms of total revenue? What was that number that you said?
They actually they didn't even release their own revenue.
But it's $64 billion in the past 20 years.
It's estimated that their total revenue is 95 billion USD.
And this excludes
of Pokemon.
This is just merchandise, by the way. This excludes Nintendo products and trading cards.
So yeah, the merchandise is about 60 billion something dollars.
I'd like to really quickly throw out one thing before I get back to my other point. This shit's big enough that they have a fucking Pikachu float in the Thanksgiving Day parade. Like, you get to actually watch Pikachu fly.
Let me tell you something about Pokemon.
But everyone knows what it is the thing. Yeah. Like, if you fly a Basculin float, nobody's gonna know what the fuck that is.
Pokemon.
Wait, is Pikachu in? Hold on 1 second. This is important. Is Pikachu in the game?
Yes, of course. Oh, come on.
Pikachu's always gonna
you
be
think?
in the game.
You think we're not gonna have Pikachu in the game? Yes. Pikachu and Eevee are now the.
Oh yeah, they are. They have
They're permanent.
Don't worry. This isn't Gen 5 again. Oh, it's worse. Somehow it's fucking worse. Somehow it's fucking worse, because I thought about it. At least in Gen 5, you get the national decks. You can import your fucking shit. You can just kill me.
Pokemon, the franchise, is worth more than Hello Kitty, Winnie the Pooh, Mickey Mouse, Star Wars, Anpanman.
I'm sorry, did somebody say Winnie the fucking Pooh?
Yes. Every Disney princess, Shonen Jump, Mario, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Harry Potter, Spider-Man, Gundam, Batman, and by the way, I can say literally anything I want because they're the most profitable franchise of all time.
So now just keep listing off things into infinity, by the way.
Yes, I can literally name any franchise. Pokemon's made more money than it. Period. And it's not even that. It's really not.
Do you think they just blow all their money on fucking blowing hookers?
I think they blow all their money.
I don't think they spend their money at all, to be honest.
They might not spend any. It might just be on a giant vault. Honestly,
because like, what do they like? Honestly, what do they actually do with their money? They don't make spin-off games anymore. They just make the mainline games.
They don't make bigger and better mainline games.
What the fuck do they even spend their money on? Like right now, there's a pop-up store in London, but it's a pop-up store. That store's closing. They have a Pokemon.
You think they'd have Pokemon stores in every major fucking city?
That was that was actually the plan, though. They planned to do this in the early 2000s. But I think the Pokemon Center in New York made them realize it's too big for them to do it, because there was a whole scandal in which. So, I don't know if you were around when I was telling people this story, but apparently the Pokemon Center transitioned from the Pokemon Center to Nintendo NY to Nintendo World because there was a lot of corruption within the store. Like, employees would just steal merchandise and they would hide it in the sewers underneath Chinatown.
What?
Like, there were entire warehouses filled with Pokemon merchandise that never made it to the store because employees would just steal that shit on the way, either at the store or on the way to the store.
That's fucking hilarious, by the way.
Also, if I can pull up the
yes, please do. I'd love to read that as we fucking prepare to get.
I was actually gonna. Yeah, I was about to say you should probably start.
Yeah, if you got it real quick, then do it. If not, we'll throw it on the podcast. But now I won't lie. First off, let's start at the beginning again. This could all be fake, but certain things we know are true. We know that they're cutting Pokemon. We know they lied about the models. We know they lied about the frequency of Pokemon games. We know that they lied about a lot of shit. We know that they're aiming for about 400 Pokemon. Now, there was another rumor that said that the National Dex, or the Pokedex would expand in the post-game to be 650 Pokemon. That apparently is false. That's not true, from what I've seen.
Yeah, I saw that was
these are likely your 400, and with less than 11 days before the game drops, I'd like to say that a leak this late from apparently what's supposed to be a trusted source, and I mean, like, bigger YouTubers have already commentated and talked about this officially, so, or not like under Nintendo's fucking wing or anything, but in general, they've talked about this as though it was serious. So I'm gonna assume that with 11 days before these games launch, someone may have just gotten their hands on a copy, or someone may have been already.
So
had
that's
their hands
actually
on it.
the leaks are allegedly coming from someone who has the game and is just writing it as they play through.
I could very well believe this, by the way. And even like it feels too real. It fits too much with what we know. All these Pokemon on the right that or on the left that I've seen have been pretty much shown off. Yeah. Oh, did you post it? I'm sorry. He did. What a fucking madman. It's
that's a long story at this point, to be honest.
Yeah, okay, but I at least on his behalf, I will say that. Oh yeah, there was a Warner Brothers flagship. Holy shit. You know how long ago that was?
And
anyway,
this right here. The dark side.
The dark side of Pokemon NYC. Is this like a fan-made website?
Yeah, that details the history. Because a lot of the history from the Pokemon Center, it doesn't exist because apparently you weren't allowed to film or take pictures within the store. Because they were trying, that's part of the reason, that's in efforts in curbing, like, people stealing merchandise.
Stealing photographs.
Well, no. They would take pictures of where stuff was and then plan raids and shit, or how to steal shit. Like, that's one of the ways they curb it.
Good God.
It's why if you go to Best Buy and you have a camera, they're like, get out of our store. Like, what are you doing? They don't want people doing that.
I mean, but or don't we live in the era where you could just put like a phone camera in your pocket or some shit?
If they see it overtly, they'll tell you to get out.
I don't know. I'm okay. I'm not gonna try to incriminate myself here. So let's move on. But we'll read this on the podcast. Because I'd like to go play Luigi's Mansion, an actual good Switch game that's worth your money. I could tell you a lot of Switch games that are worth $60, and I don't think Sword and Shield is going to be one of them. Now, to be nice, I'm going to try to promote a little bit of positivity on this stream. My good friend Midori-chan, he might actually play this game on stream, and if he doesn't, I guess I was wrong. So that could be pretty cool. And any last thoughts, Mr. Prime? You first.
It's not the first time I've skipped a gen. Won't be the last. It looks like it might be. It might be. Getting the game might become a rarity more so than not.
Mr. Searchster.
I'm gonna get the game just because it's Pokemon, and I don't care. Pokemon has been bad for a while. I just play the game. I'm like,
And that's what we call a scab, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Instant Retreat. Instant narcolepsy strikes again. I'd be lying to you if I said I wouldn't play it, but the caveat exists in those words. I'm going to play the game. I'm going to wait for it to be used. I'm going to wait for this game to be used, Need for Speed Heat to be used, and Fallen Order to be used. And basically my goal with those games is that I'm going to buy the games, beat them in a week, and then fucking return them. And it's literally no fault of GameStop. I might, and this is a very, very big might, I might keep the Shield, because I kind of want to have maybe a Pokemon game lying around, but I don't know, dude. I feel like this is all fucking stupid. I feel like for a game this loved and a series this award-winning, and everybody loves it and emulates it, and kids, and no matter how old or young you are, you know what this series is. You know what Pikachu is. You know, like, it's like with Mario and shit. You know who Mario is. You might not know who Link is. You know who Mario is. You know who Pikachu is. It's too much fucking drama. It's too much drama coming from a AAA company of the literal biggest entertainment franchise in history. I can't. I've supported them for 20 years. I've been a loyal fan. I'll continue to be a loyal fan of their old work. I mean, nothing's stopping me from that. And, what a fucking shit show. What a disaster. Game Freak, what the actual fuck, man? What are you gonna fucking do, It is what it is. But I actually appreciate Mr. DoublePrime getting us started on this today, because I wouldn't have done this. So, thank you, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, I got to yell, and I don't do that very much.
He doesn't.
In my office, I don't say a fucking word all day.
This was his podcast, basically. He was keeping that in.
It's always funny because every time I start, I'm sure it's gonna be for a little bit. Every time I do a rant, I'm starting to move into the XQC 6 monitor rant, where he's like, "What does the streamer have?" You know that one?
No, I actually don't.
I'll have to.
You can show me. Yeah,
it's good. Yeah, I'll show you later.
Yeah, it's By the way, Stoutland and that evolutionary line isn't in. I think that's very special. But anyway, this is one of those images that the more you look at it, the worse it gets. So I think I'll do everyone a favor, and we can just clock out right now. It'd be pretty fucking sweet.
Yeah, that's good.
Sounds good.